And action. Good evening. It's Josh here from Racing to Profit. I am here to have a quick look at the 3:30 at Warwick on Tuesday, the 26th of September. I am talking to you as I speak at 20 to 8 in the evening on Monday, the 25th. You will see more and more kind of activity on the free daily posts. For those of you who aren't aware, my tipping race of choice and the only kind of race I focus on from scratch are 3 mile plus, 3 mile and further handicap chases, kind of class 4 and above. Generally during the winter time, although we've ticked along over the summer with a nice couple of winners. But yes, these are the races that when I say attack cold, where I don't use stats or trends as a kind of a starting point, generally they're for kind of festivals or big Saturday races. But I like looking at 3 mile plus handicap chases, and with any luck, as has happened in previous seasons, we can do okay over time, find a few nice winners, and add to the pot, to the profit pot. What am I going to say? So yes, my general aim, as with any tip or any race, is to try and find horses which I think are a bigger price than they should be. And with that said, Kilfinnicum Bay, 1 point winner, 8 to 1. I think he is 2 to 3 points bigger than he should be, and I think all the others are probably around a price that they should be. And therefore, I don't think I'm getting an edge by backing some of the others. And I think a lot of the others have questions in relation to their price, which I will get onto in a moment. In general, I have to work very hard to convince myself to back a horse in a race like this at 4 to 1 or shorter. Generally, I'm looking in the kind of 6, 7, or 8 to 1 range. That's a general point across my betting kind of more widely. Why do I do that? Because you have to be right a lot more when you focus at the top end of the market, and being right is hard. And I have developed, I suppose, and comfortable with an approach which works for me, whereby you can forgive horses a bit more when you're focused on profit and not winners, when you're focused on horses that are a bigger price than they should be. You can afford to take the odd chance to build in any negatives into the context of price, and kind of, I think, do better in the long term. But that's the aim. I'm still learning. I'm still getting better myself, as we should all be trying to do over time. This game is very tough, many lows, but the highs generally more than make up for it over time. I must sound like a broken record already, and I'm only 3 minutes in. So, with that said, Kilfinnicum Bay, why do I like him? Three things. Firstly, when I flicked on this race card, Charlie Longston's current form jumped out at me. In the last 14 days, he's had 8 runners, 4 have won and 5 have placed. As always, I'm using the brilliant Gigi's Gold, which I should plug, mainly because I use them for these videos and they'd be a bit rubbish without them. Everything at the click of a button. So yes, Kilfinnicum Bay, trainer form caught the eye. Jockey form obviously caught the eye. A lot of that will be linked to Longston, as he is the new stable jockey, which is a shrewd signing indeed. What else did I want to say caught the eye? This caught the eye. This is horse race base, which I've just flicked over. Kilfinnicum Bay won this exact very race last year, sent off at 6 to 1, which wouldn't surprise me if he was sent off that price or a tad shorter come race time. We've got that. Yeah, the horse won the race last year. Charlie Longston is in cracking form. I know he stays. 8 to 1 just seemed big. And having watched the video of his run the last day, I thought there were signs there that he was about to come to the boil and put his best foot forward. That race at Warwick, Worcester, this horse is a dour stayer. I think 23 furlongs was too short. He got outpaced for a time in the race, which was fairly slowly run and dominated from the front by Son of Presenting. He rallied and he showed enough kind of from 3 out to 4 out around that kind of area. He rallied, he ran strongly into second for a time, before then not going through his effort, but staying on kind of through the line well enough. But I don't think that trip was far enough. and there's a chance that he may have been on a training regime which gets him to the boil and gets him to peak to win this race for a second year in a row. That is the hope anyway. Those were kind of the three main things for why I thought 8-1 was rather big, and was the only horse in here that I thought was kind of overpriced. What could we say about the others? Some general things about this race. It's full of horses in general which have had kind of 8 to 15 chase, 8 to 15 handicap chase starts. There's a chance that lots of them in here still are open to kind of, or may not as yet have run their best race over fences. Maybe that's the correct way to say that. It's quite competitive. It's not one to go too mad in, and I won't fall off my seat entirely if anything wins. And some would say that comment means you should just sit out the race and watch it. But as you may come to learn in the coming weeks and months, there is rarely a 3-mile and further handicap chase that I don't like having a look at. And if I can make a case for a horse that I think is too big, that is what I will do, and that is what I will back. So that was that. I don't know, we're at 6 minutes. I am going to keep this under 10. The other thing to say for his chance is pace. I would like 2 or 3 more dead cert front runners in this. The harder they go, the better. Kilfinnicum base stays. He's got fuller stamina. I'm hoping the John Joe horse may lead. I'm hoping Son of Presenting may take him on, but he might just sit behind him. I'm hoping the Celebration may push the pace, and Twist and Davis may push the pace. Bucher Orlean might be on a going day, and he might be up there. Fat the Matter might be up there. I don't want to crawl. There's a chance that happens, but that is why I like taking a price about a horse. I generally struggle and shake and get nervous about backing anything, and certainly tipping anything that is kind of 4-1 or shorter. My personal record at that end of the market is generally pretty crap. So it's best to stick to what you're good at, or think you're good at in any case. And that is generally horses that are 6, 7, 8-1 or bigger in this type of race that I think are a bit too big in price, which he is. So we've touched on him. Fort Worth, I'm happy to leave at the price because of the day's rest. He does not as yet have a proven profile after a run and fitness, and even if he did, 4-1 was still a bit short. And he's 8, 9, 10, 11 pounds above his last winning run, which isn't something which necessarily bothers me with chasers. Handicap chasers especially, but it does when they are that short in price. John Joe isn't exactly firing or rattling in the winners, so that was enough there. Fitness was a question for Manila Celebration as well, especially in that trainer record that you can see there with horses returning after a break. This one is also now on a career high mark, I believe, so has to go and do something different. Those kind of couple of things were enough to put me off at his price. He was in decent form when last seen, but he's going to have to be at the top of his game here. And that fitness question is a little niggle. Son of Presenting, he has a stamina question for me. He looks like a 21 furlong horse, really. He was able to dominate and do his own thing and lead at a very steady gallop, which I think contributed him to him getting home here. And he very nearly ran out of gas at the line. He's up another £5. He might dominate here. He might stay and do the same again. But in the context that he's only 9-2, 4-1, that stamina question was enough to put me off. It's not like he's 8-1. He's not like he's 9-1 where you can take a chance and say, oh, he's young, he's progressive, he's going forward. He might actually appreciate running over this trip again. That's the argument you could make if he was a bigger price. The fact he chased home Creevy Tennant, who's a 13-year-old, over 24 furlongs, and the way he ran last time out, leave me with a bit of a niggle. I do not want niggles, and I do not want to be on the fence or worrying about things when you back a horse in the kind of 9-2, 4-1 range. So happy to leave him. Fact of the matter is interesting. I'm not sure how strong that race was the last time. He's gone up another £6. He's on a career high mark over fences. He's going to have to step forward again, which he might well do. 6.5 felt okay, but if not entirely generous, especially in the context of the fact that his trainer hasn't really targeted this track historically. The horse has never run at the course, and the trainer doesn't have a superb record with horses that won last time out. Those kind of things niggled at me within the context, but it wouldn't surprise me if he went well, like a lot of these. Bucher Orlean is a 10-year-old. If he puts his best foot forward, could win this. But he's up against a lot more lightly raced horses. He's very moody, and in that context, at 5-1, I was more than happy just to ignore him. He can win. I can cheer him home. I like seeing these old boys win. But at that price, I'm happy for him to beat me. That's probably the price he should be. I don't think that's overly generous. Up ticks at 10 minutes, so I'll try and bring this to a close ASAP. Adam Dubreteau doesn't have a good record after a break of 60 days or more. In fairness, only one of those in handicap chases, but even still, he did finish behind Kilfinnicum Bay at Fontwell. He was off 129 there. He's off 127 here, which is what, a drop of £2. And Kilfinnicum Bay, well, he's only £1 higher, so that's a kind of £3 swing, and that certainly wouldn't have been enough to reverse that particular result. And I'm not really a big weights and measures thing with this kind of race. 2, 3, 5, £6 is one big jumping error. It's one tactical bit of nous stealing a race from the front, you know, all those kind of things, or being more suited to conditions. Jumping and stamina is one of the most important things in these types of races, which to a point can often make weights and measures, handicap ratings mean absolutely sod all. So that's that. Adam Dubreteau, yeah, so he's got that fitness question. I'd want to see market support, really. John Doe doesn't have too many drifters or big price horses kind of fall in. Aidan Coleman as well, I think, would have had the choice, and he's gone for Fort Worth. I think that is some indication, especially given he's ridden the horse before. So yeah, there was just a few too many questions and niggles there, as well as his current well-being and form also when I looked through the race. Belmont is interesting. I thought 5-1 wasn't overly generous. It might just be about right. He is again a bit more on the exposed side of things. He's a solid yardstick. If he puts his best foot forward, I think he might run a decent enough race. He does qualify on some of my Nigel Twist and Davis angles within the members club. But like I said, 5-1 feels about right. I haven't yet decided whether or not I might throw a 5 at him as a saver, which is kind of a cop-out, I suppose. As yet, I don't know if Twist and Davis is rattling in the winners or what kind of form he's going to be in. He will start having many runners over the next couple of weeks. I have a few good angles for him at this time of year, but we will see what kind of form they are in when they start reappearing, which this one will do. I say this, you know, a repeat of that run at Cheltenham might be good enough to put him in the mix here. He was behind Manila Celebration at Uttoxeter. A lot of these horses have run against each other, beaten each other, or run in similar races. So yeah, it is, like I said, it is competitive. You could make a case for quite a few, but at the end of the day, Kilfinnicum Bay, because of the Red Hawk trainer form, because the horse won the race last year, because there's a chance he may have been aimed at it, because of how he ran the last day, having watched the video, I thought there was quite some promise there. And the most important factor of all, the fact he was 8-1. Was a few 2 points bigger than I thought it should be. If you fancy something else in this, I certainly will not put you off. Look at the number of chasers that are in form with wins or decent second places to their name last time out. Pretty much all of them. So it's a tough little race. It's competitive. It's just the one that I like watching. It might give some clues for the next couple of weeks or when some of these might reappear. So yeah, we will see how it goes. Hopefully they go a bit too hard up front. Hopefully Kilfinnicum Bay can keep tabs on them, doesn't get too detached, because he will be staying late, and he might just ground these lot into submission when some of them have had enough and their gas starts emptying at the kind of 23, 24 furlong point, or their lack of a run or lack of fitness type starts to tell, I should say, over the last couple of fences. So that's that. There's probably some other things I wanted to mention, but yeah, that'll do. You've hopefully picked up a couple of things there about how my brain works for these types of races, and that will no doubt develop as time goes on, as my own thinking is always trying to develop. Everything I've said is not cast in stone or iron, whichever cast in iron, that's the one. In terms of this is definitely right or definitely wrong, this is my own subjective view of how I approach these races, which is kind of built up from experience over the last 2 or 3 years. So yes, with that said, I will leave that there as we slowly tick towards 15 minutes, but I hope you may have found that of some use. By all means, do post any comments, positive or negative, or any particular horses that you like from this race, or cases that you think can be made. I look forward to reading such things. So with that said, this is Josh saying bye for now. If you have a bet, good luck tomorrow.